Brian Stevens, and today I want to start a series of videos about developing greater flexibility on the saxophone and the clarinet. So today what I want to focus on is mouthpiece pitch. Now first of all, before we can really start working too much with mouthpiece pitch, we want to make sure that we have the right embouchure. So for saxophone players, we want to make sure we got the ooh shape, and I've got another video where I talk about this. I want to make sure the ooh shape is good and that the jaw is open and the lower lip is bunched up. Of course, for clarinet, we want to make sure the chin is flat and they got the firm lower lip and forming the embouchure like that. Of course, good posture for all the instruments. But the tricky thing is knowing what is going on inside the throat or the oral cavity area, and that is also very important for getting a good sound on the instrument. Now, with my more beginning students, when they're first starting off, instead of getting into the deep dark science of mouthpiece pitch, I have them first think about opening up in here by singing the lowest note they can. Because as we do that, it naturally gets us to open the throat and lift the soft palate. Some things that we normally don't think about, but are important for getting that nice, open, clear sound on these instruments. And another thing too is like holding a yawn. Like when we yawn, we naturally open up that back part of the throat that we need to use for getting a good sound. But once we get to a certain point, it's a good idea to start finding the right pitch on the mouthpiece of whichever instrument you're playing. And it kind of acts like a diagnostic tool to help us know that we got this stuff set correct, and also to help us get this invisible stuff inside set to the correct spot. Now, these mouthpiece pitches are fairly well known and fairly well published. But I'll just kind of go through each of the instruments here for a little bit. So here's alto sax mouthpiece, and we talk A concert because a lot of times if you have a piano, we can hit the A. If you have a tuner, that works as well. But we're not talking saxophone pitch because it's kind of hard to know what this is. It's F sharp for if you do have a saxophone. But for A concert, so we want to get that. And we don't want to get any higher than that A. If we're a little bit below it, if we're around a G or so, that's fine too. So between G and A, but we don't want to be any higher than A. Now, a lot of times sax players, when they first get to alto sax, they're up here, more like a C, because a lot of times they're trying to play it more like a clarinet, and even if they haven't played clarinet, they're just too tight with the jaw and they're too tight inside here. So for alto sax, it's A. For tenor sax, the pitch is a G, and if you're down to F, that's fine too. So there is tenor sax. For bari sax, I'm going to get more down to a D. And then, of course, for soprano and clarinet, for soprano sax, we want to get a concert C. And then, of course, the clarinet, same pitch, but of course we have to make sure we're doing the things different. You got the different angle. With the saxophone, we want more of it straight in the mouth. And with the clarinet, we want a slight downward angle. And with the clarinet, it's a little bit different. If you can get above a C, great. If you get up to a C sharp or whatever, or even higher, that's actually a good thing. You don't want to be below a C on clarinet. And it's a slightly different animal, but it's still the same idea, and it acts as a diagnostic to make sure that we're setting things up here, out here and in here correctly. But going back to the alto sax here, now again, a lot of people start off, up closer to that C. So what if you're doing all this stuff correctly and all that, and you're still too high? Then the problem is you haven't developed enough flexibility in your throat that you can open things up and stretch things out so that you can get down to that pitch. And again, thinking of a yawn or singing a low note helps you get further down. But if you're having a hard time getting down, a lot of times we can work down in increments. So if we get maybe play the C concert, then play a B concert. And then once you can get the B okay, then work it from the B to the B flat. And then once you get to the B flat, see if you can get it down to the A. And then, you know, like when you are warming up, when you first are starting to practice, just kind of out of the blue, check your pitch. Maybe play the pitch first. And if you're there, great. If you're, and you find, oh, I'm still a little high, then you need to keep working until that A for the alto sax, and of course, the pitches for the other ones, the same thing. You want to make sure that becomes your home base, and that is the pitch that comes out when you, without even thinking, that you get. And then once you get to that point where A on the alto sax is your natural pitch area, then we want to do what I call a siren exercise. And that's where we then go A to A flat, back to A, and then go back and forth between those two pitches, always coming back to A as our home base. So we're flexing so we can get below our regular pitch. And then once you get to the A flat, then we go back to the A and then do the G. And then work that for a little bit. Then A to F sharp. And notice I'm trying not to move my jaw. I'm trying to do everything in here. Now with the mouthpiece you can kind of cheat a little bit and use the jaw, but you want to avoid moving the jaw because on the next video and the next exercise we do, it's crucial that you don't move your jaw. So if you can keep in the habit of keeping your jaw and embouchure in the same spot, but doing all of the movement here. And then, yeah, then you just keep working down A to F. A to E. And once you start getting down in that range, and you can keep working down too, you can get fairly low with this, at least on the sax. But you want to keep working on that until you get to the point where then we can do the next exercise, which I call the palm key flexibility. Which, I mean, and there's a variation that you can do for bari sax is a little bit different, clarinet's a little bit different, but there's still variations of this exercise we can do that there's a lot of benefits from being able to have this flexibility here. And I'll talk more about that in the next video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and learned something from it. If you have any questions, feel free to either email me or you can put the questions on the comment section there on the, at the bottom of the video here. I'm trying to be more aware of and respond faster when people have questions now. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and have a good day.